Shako Mako, everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Joe Austin, and today I'm going to show you how to choose the best SD card for your new Sony A7RV. The one that can give you everything you need. Stay tuned. All I was looking for when I was buying the SD card for my Sony A7 III, it's a card that can write in speed that's above 90 megabyte, which is, I found the Samsung, it was like cheap, it was like Black Friday back then. I got them for like 25 bucks each, 128 gig. It was pretty good and it was working fine. I was able to do everything, but I didn't know what I was missing until I pre-ordered my Sony A7RV and I started looking into SD cards and how they work. So in one of the videos that they were reviewing the Sony A7RV, I saw that the 8K shoots in 400 megabits. And I didn't know the difference between megabit and megabyte until I did more research, and it's technically megabit is 8 times the megabyte. So to know how much you need to divide that number by 8. And you need a card that can write the same speed as that number. So for example, for the Sony A7RV, to shoot an 8K 24, you need a card that can read consistently for 50 megabytes per second. That's what the numbers that's on the card means. So for example, I have this card. It says SDAC1, there's like number 3, V30, and it's 130 megabytes. So usually they advertise it with the reading speed, not the writing speed, because usually the reading speed, it's way faster. And reading speed, it's like when you're taking stuff from the card and transfer it to your computer. So the writing speed is how fast it is to write that data, the pictures, the videos, into your card. But the V30, it's what's important. That's the only number you care about. So for this card saying it's a V30, that means the writing speed, even though it's about 100 writing speed, V30 means it does not go below 30 megabytes per second, which is, that's decent. So if your camera needs out 200 megabits, this is gonna be enough, because 200 megabits divided by 8, that would give you 25 megabytes. And this one, the minimum is 30, which is, it's gonna do consistent 30 megabyte minimum, if not even more. So it would allow you to continue shooting with your video and it will not stop. The CF Express would be the best card for Sony A7RV. No argue there, but they're super expensive. I mean, the 80 gigabyte goes for $178. The 160 gigabyte, they go for $357. And the 320 gigabyte, they goes for $650, which is, that's what you should get, because to be honest, even though Sony A7RV, it's great, the file size is a killer. A picture is 120 megabyte. A 50-second video in 8K, it's 1 gigabyte. 140-second video in 4K 60, it's 1 gigabyte. So you're gonna need a lot of space. So the 160 gigabyte is not gonna be a lot. The 80, it's absolutely not usable unless if you use one for very high speed. And unless you're shooting a burst a lot, I don't think you're gonna need it. So if you're a sport photographer, maybe you can justify it. Other than that, I think it's too expensive. But I found the best, really cheap alternative. It's this one. So I was searching a lot. I was looking for a V90. So V90 means it will not go below 90 megabyte per second, which is, that's a lot. That's more than what you need with a Sony A7RV. And there is a V60. The V60 would be also perfect, and it's a lot cheaper. But this one, the brand Acer, it's way cheaper than the V60. I don't know why. Maybe it's new. When I got it, there was not a lot of reviews on it. So maybe they're just trying to put it in the market. But it's a V90, reading it's 300 megabyte per second. The writing is 256 megabyte per second. That's crazy numbers. The one that's similar to this, they go for like $300, $280 easily. This one, I got it for $140. That's a steal. So this would be the perfect card for your new Sony A7R5. So you guys may say, okay, well, it's still brand new. How do you know? Because that's my second one. This, I got it for a test to see if it's worth it to get the other one. And once I tried it, it's a killer. Like, I didn't know how much I was missing, because even on the Sony A7 III, the burst shot, it was like in seconds. Like the moment I stopped shooting, I count like a second and it's gone. It's wrote everything in. Even when I was hitting the 120 for JPEG or 60 for the compressed, and it was like 30 uncompressed, it's like 5 seconds and it's gone. So it's great. Even if you don't have the Sony A7R5, it's a great card to have. It will help you a lot. It will speed up the process, speed up your shooting, the transfer. It takes seconds to transfer it from the card to your computer. But there's a catch when it comes to that. Just because your card can do 256 writing speed and 300 reading speed, that doesn't mean it will give you that speed when you transfer it to your computer, because that depends on your card reader and the USB type A that you're putting your card reader in. If you have a higher speed one, 3.2 type A USB, that's fine, use that. But I had this one, it's very cheap SD card reader. I got it for like $9. It was doing the job. I mean, I didn't know what I was missing. Like I said, I did have no research about this kind of stuff. And it was transferring my data, not very fast, but once I got this SD card, I put it in it, and it was giving me like 30 megabytes. At first, I thought like that SD card must be a scam because it's not giving me the speed that they're saying. And then I did some more research. They said the SD card reader sucks, so I need a better one, because my SD card is UHS 2, which is, you see there is like 2 lines of reading. This one is type 1 and it's cheap, so it's not gonna give me the full speed. I had to go and buy UHS type 2 card reader, and those can be really expensive as well. I mean, I found one, I think it's from Gigabyte. It's supposed to be the fastest one. From what I read about it, it's like $80. But found another alternative. It's this one, Kingston. This one, I've been using it, but I just put it back in the cart to show you how the package looks like. I started using this, and it was giving me 256 reading and writing speed. It's crazy fast. And it also depends on what kind of hard drive you have in your computer. If you have an HDD, that's very slow. If you have an SSD, that's a lot faster, so you may see the full speed. But that's not what we're talking about today. It's like what you need is for shooting. I mean, transfer speed, it's okay to be a little bit slower. You're not in a hurry, you come back from a shoot, you can plug it in, have it transfer while you like take a shower or something. But while you're on the shoot, you need something that's a killer, something that's not gonna disappoint. And it have all this like magnetic resisting, water resisting, have some pressure. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's gonna be a lifesaver. And that's why I don't need to buy the CF Express Type A and spend a lot of money. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's 256 gigabytes. So if you want to get the CF Express, well, 160 is $350. This one, 256, and it's $140. Give it a try. I don't think you're gonna regret it. That's why I bought 2 of those, and I'm not gonna be buying the CF Express anytime soon. Maybe until some other competitor come up with cheaper, but if you want to buy the Sony, it's really expensive. So maybe we can wait a little. Well, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it's gonna save you some money. Well, actually, it's gonna save you a lot of money. So a like would be appreciated, and maybe subscribe and turn on the bell so you can get more helpful videos to help you with your new Sony A7R5. or photography in general. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.